This video explores the multifaceted career and enduring cultural significance of Ovidie, born on August 25, 1980 in France, who has become one of the most thought-provoking figures to emerge from the European erotic entertainment industry. First gaining prominence as an actress at the turn of the 21st century, Ovidie's career trajectory has defied stereotypes and simple categorizations. She is not merely a former performer, but a prolific filmmaker, an incisive journalist, a political essayist, and a vocal feminist whose work has consistently interrogated the contradictions and complexities of sexuality, power, representation, and freedom. To understand Ovidie's significance, one must situate her within a broader historical and cultural context. The late 1990s and early 2000s in France were marked by shifting attitudes towards sexuality, feminism, and media consumption. During this period, the film industry was undergoing significant technological and cultural transformations due to the rise of the internet, which disrupted traditional distribution models and exposed performers to new levels of scrutiny and exploitation, but also new possibilities for autonomy. Meanwhile, third-wave feminism was gaining momentum in Europe, reviving questions about the politics of sex work, agency, and the male gaze. Within this turbulent landscape, Ovidie emerged as a figure who refused to be merely an object of the gaze. She became its critic, its manipulator, and its chronicler. This argues that Ovidie's body of work, spanning performance, direction, literature, and journalism, constitutes a radical intervention in debates about feminism, cultural production. Through her films, documentaries, and books, Ovidie has repeatedly challenged conventional, moralistic, and sensationalist portrayals of sex work, advocated for the rights and dignity of sex workers, and reframed erotic representation as a potential site of empowerment and critical reflection, rather than simple exploitation. To appreciate Ovidie's radical potential, it is essential to understand her early decision to enter not as a passive participant, but as an active provocateur. Unlike many performers who are discovered or recruited into the industry, Ovidie entered mature deliberately, driven by her curiosity about sexuality and the politics of representation. In interviews, she has repeatedly described her decision as a form of political engagement, an attempt to reclaim female sexual agency from the male-dominated narrative that had historically defined it. While working with European film directors, Ovidie chose projects that blurred the line between erotic spectacle and performance art. She was influenced by the writings of French intellectuals such as Michel Foucault and Simone de Beauvoir, viewing sexuality as a site where power relations are enacted and contested. Her films often incorporated aesthetic and thematic elements that challenge the standard tropes of mainstream mature. Instead of the typical male-centered gonzo style, Ovidie scenes explored female desire, mutual pleasure, and the absurdity of mature performative rituals themselves. In this sense, her early career can be seen as a lived critique of the objectification inherent in the genre, using her own body and persona as tools of subversion. Building on the self-reflexive themes of her acting career, Ovidie's move behind the camera marked an evolution of her critique. As a director, she deliberately crafted narratives that foregrounded consent, pleasure, and the agency of performers, pushing back against the exploitative dynamics she witnessed firsthand. Her acclaimed documentary, L'Industrie du Sexe et Moi, 2002, exemplifies this approach. In it, Ovidie pulls back the curtain on the film industry, not to sensationalize or moralize, but to humanize the people within it, performers, directors, producers, and crew alike. She dismantles the voyeuristic barrier between performer and audience by showing the everyday realities of sex work, the labor, the contracts, the negotiation of limits, the awkwardness behind perfect scenes. In subsequent works such as Pornocratie, 2017, she investigates the rise of free streaming platforms and their devastating impact on performers' income and autonomy. By combining her insider's knowledge with a rigorous journalistic approach, Ovidie has expanded her critique from individual scenes to structural inequalities in the global erotic economy. Her films have not only informed debates about sex work, but have also inspired a generation of feminists and activists to envision an industry that can respect consent, diversity, and performer welfare. While many former performers struggle to be taken seriously outside the confines of the industry, Ovidie has carved out a unique space as a respected essayist and commentator. In her books, including La Sexualité Féminine, 2009, and A Porn Love Story, 2015, she situates personal anecdotes within broader social critiques of misogyny, moral panic, and the persistent stigmatization of female sexuality. She argues that society's contradictory relationship with erotic, simultaneously ubiquitous and taboo, reveals deeper anxieties about gender and control. Ovidie does not romanticize the erotic industry. Rather, she exposes its exploitative practices while arguing that abolitionist approaches to sex work do more harm than good. In doing so, she positions herself within a broader, sex-positive feminist tradition that defends the rights of sex workers while demanding structural reform. Critics have accused her of glamorizing erotic or downplaying its harms, but Ovidie counters that the real problem lies not in explicit representation itself, but in the lack of respect, protection, and labor rights for those who produce it. Through her writing and public speaking, Ovidie has become a leading voice in French debates about censorship, moral policing, and the intersections of gender, media, and politics. In tracing Ovidie's journey from performer to director to public intellectual, this video has argued that her career embodies a unique and influential challenge to the simplistic narratives that dominate mainstream and feminist discourses about erotic. Her work demonstrates that erotic media can be a site of critique and resistance, rather than mere objectification. As an actress, she used her own image to destabilize the passive roles assigned to women on screen. As a filmmaker, she opened up spaces for ethical production and self-representation. As a writer and journalist, she has given voice to a community often silenced or caricatured in public debate. By refusing to conform to binary labels, victim or agent, erotic star or intellectual, exploiter or exploited, Ovidie has built a body of work that insists on the complexity of sexual labor and the possibility of radical transparency and reform. Her insistence that sex workers deserve the same rights and dignity as any other labor force remains a powerful reminder of the contradictions in societies that consume explicit images yet shame those who produce them. As debates about sexuality, representation, and digital economies continue to evolve, Ovidie's legacy will remain relevant. Her films, books, and documentaries urge us to look beyond the scandalous surface and to confront the deeper questions. Who profits from desire? Who controls the narrative of bodies and pleasure? And can the camera, so often an instrument of the gaze, become a tool for freedom instead? By asking these questions, Ovidie has shown that the line between the gaze and the pen is not a barrier but a bridge, one she continues to cross, illuminating the shadows where sex, art, and politics collide. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.